While I feel the Foo Fighters' music has grown a bit long in the tooth, with Grohl and the guys feeling more like a modern-day Steve Miller band than the rock gods they started out as, I will say that the first 2 or 3 albums rock me deep to my soul to this day. Still, when I heard Dave Grohl and his band secretly made a horror movie over the pandemic, I was immediately interested. The trailer got me stoked, and now that I've seen it, I can't wait to talk about it. So let's start fighting those foos. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Studio 666 is new in select theaters from Open Road Films. It's directed by BJ McDonnell. It's written by Jeff Buhler, Rebecca Hughes, and based on a story by Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl, played by Dave Grohl, and the rest of his band, the Foo Fighters, made up of Taylor Hawkins, Nate Mendel, Pat Smear, Chris Shiflett, and Rami Jaffee, move into a gothic mansion with hopes to find inspiration and finally complete their 10th album. Unfortunately, they find supernatural forces instead of inspiration that threaten to break up the band and send them straight to the grave. Studio 666 is a blast and a half. No, none of the Foo Fighters are going to be winning any Oscars, but they do seem comfortable in front of the camera, and each are able to convey different, distinct personalities. Grohl, above all else, really works as the star, and I'd love to see him act again, as he has a sort of stressed-out, sarcastic John Cusack from High Fidelity sort of vibe that makes for a relatable and often quite funny lead. This is his show. He's the frontman and given the best stuff to do. The rest of the guys are just background players, but I have to say every scene with Foo Fighter guitarist Pat Smear is gold. The comedy works most of the time. Sure, there are a few groaners in there. The Pearl Jam High Five bit isn't as clever as the band thinks it is, but I found myself smiling through most of the film. There's just a playful vibe going on with all of the homages to cult classic films like The Burning, Darkman, Phantasm, and others, as well as fun supporting roles by MacGruber's Will Forte, Curb Your Enthusiasm's Jeff Garlin, and American Horror Story's Leslie Grossman. Whitney Cummings delivers a strong comedic performance as a former groupie in the 90s who wants to help the band out any way she can. These strong backup performances only elevate the rest of the cast, who probably aren't as comfortable in front of the camera and with the comedy. There are also a few smaller cameos that will have rock and horror fans giddy, so don't blink or you might miss them. I was really surprised by the sheer amount and the creative quality of the gore. Not only is there copious amounts of blood strewn everywhere, but the kills are quite imaginative, incorporating musical themes quite nicely. I also love the shadow people effects. They worked in making things effectively spooky, despite the film's often goofy tone. This one takes its gore and scares seriously and manages to balance the horror and the comedy in a way many have tried and only few have succeeded at. The problem with Studio 666 is the runtime. I mean, man, it is ever long. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But I do think 20 minutes could have been shaved off of this one in order for it to be more digestible. Sure, it looks like these guys had a lot of fun making the film, but I think they could have been a bit more choosy with what made it to the final cut. I found myself checking the time a few times in the last 15 minutes of this movie. While the film does move at a fast pace, it just feels bogged down towards the end. Had this one come in at a crisp hour and 25 minutes, I think it would be downright perfect. But still, even with a bit of a sag in the middle, Studio 666 is a raucous and downright goppy good time. Studio 666 allows the band to make fun of themselves, show how talented they are as musicians and as performers, and surprisingly manages to show the band can still rock the fuck out when they want to. It's a gory and gloriously good time, and gives fans of both metal and monsters something to cheer about.
You're doomed stuck inside your reality. Your